A very wonderful, loving hello to all of you, to my wonderfully loving community. Here to a new love oracle, a new love tarot, where we will now take a look at your counterpart. Yes, how did he see you, or how does he see you? Maybe he said something about how he sees you and you don't know, is that even true? Or he hasn't said anything at all. And now we will take a look at how he really completely sees you. Some people are always a bit reserved. Maybe they don't really say anything, or you might wonder what's going on. Of course, you might not want to ask, and now we will take a look. How does he see you? What's going on inside him? Let's take a look at that now. And dear ones, we are in the collective. Person cards are gender neutral. This is your counterpart, both male and female. And you always transform it so fantastically for yourselves. And the collective reading may not apply to everyone. But you take exactly what fits your situation, and you simply leave out the rest. And that is so fantastic. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you exist. Thank you for your loyalty, for your being. You are wonderful. So enchantingly lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, and now I would say, let's see what's going on. And I send you all very, very wonderful, loving, heartfelt energy. And to everyone who is not feeling well, I send all the healing. Then let's take those if it wants to make itself known. By jumping out. Oh, fantastic. Fine. Please take a look at this. So he really sees you. What's going on inside you? We have here a heart's knowledge and a matter of the heart. The heart wants to speak, whether it's him or her. And here we have heart touching. So this is really about yes. And my matter of the heart, this is nothing superficial. I can tell you that right away. No matter what he or she has shown or told you on the outside, we have love at play here. We have love, we have feelings. And it's not just a little bit of infatuation. We have a very strong affection. And what he also finds wonderful is the warmth you give. Warmth. Maybe he couldn't give you this warmth properly, couldn't open up or can't open up. In any case, you have definitely touched his heart. So that is for sure. And there is also quite a lot of movement. We have the sun here. And with the sun, it is also the case that the sun shows itself. This is indeed the card of happiness. And something is in motion. So it may be that some of you, indeed your counterpart, has now withdrawn or perhaps taken a different path. But something here keeps drawing him back. And that has to do with you. It's an attraction. And we also have movement. We have quite strong movement here. Above all, something positive is being shown here. A positive turn, a positive departure. Let's take a look now at what has quickly come into motion for him. Quickly. I would now in this communication, in this combination, this speed, if I take the whole combination now. So something today has to do with communication. Maybe something will also show up in communication. We'll take a look then. Because all these slips of the tongue just slipped out of me. In any case, quickly, something has quick touch as far as love is concerned, the heart's touch. There is really something starting there. Something is happening inside him, has also happened. And what exactly it is, as I said, we'll take a complete deep dive into it shortly. The sun really has a strong attraction. There is the attraction, heart's touch, attraction, it is movement. There is movement in his or her heart, and it concerns you. This and is about you. We are in this energy. So what else do we have? Yes, he himself is already a bit quite closed off, right? He retreats, but he also feels very lonely. Loneliness. because something is missing for him. There is this loneliness, and maybe, yes, he has always set his own boundaries too much. Maybe he couldn't really say anything, kept retreating again and again. He doesn't always come out like this. He wants to say something and then I'd rather not say anything. I always have this withdrawal, but in the end, I see him or her now completely in isolation, in loneliness. And this cross, which is also shown with him, this cross means it is a burden. Something is weighing on him. And there is a task that he or she has to complete now because something triggered it for him. We have here heart contact, we have here the activity, we have rapid movement. And we will later also delve into the time tendency because something is here, something is occupying him, that is the contact. As I said, we are in the energy towards you, from him or her to you. So H is some kind of learning task, something is here. And that is a task that perhaps has been avoided all this time. But it is important, we have very, very, very important topics here, energies that have been released, that have been set in motion. I have to smile already, but I will start talking right away. So with a person close to your heart, yes, these are quite significant topics, quite strong, intense topics that occupy him. But how he saw you, he or she saw you. So what he has kept somewhat secret repeatedly. Maybe he also kept the contact with you a secret. He or she is, however, essentially very jealous. How he saw you, you are a wonderful person. The warmth, your love, incredible. The understanding nature, he also saw only, it is so also the love you showed him, the feelings, or that you told him you want to have a committed life partnership here now. I rather withdrew. It was too much. For him, it was too fast, or too much, and or too much love, too much warmth, too much affection. That's you, that's your personality, which I find wonderful. Stay as you are. Stay as you are. Your beloved person, that is in connection with you. Even if you have been in a relationship before, because I also have the relationship between the two of you, it wasn't quite so stable, the relationship. Because he or she kept withdrawing. Maybe there were repeated conflicts. Conflicts or discussions? Did something bother him there, or was he suddenly offended? I have him with his fears. With his fears, these are also fears of loss that are being shown here. That is a very big issue. A very big issue is his or your fear of loss. And when it comes to the fear of loss, he preferred to withdraw. He went into retreat because he was partly afraid that you would leave. Maybe you also left. I would have also said, yes, it doesn't bother me, but now, after this length of time, I can tell you, definitely not. It bothers me more than anything because you still occupy his thoughts. And what he felt for you was, as I said, this warmth, the affection, your fondness, and this helpfulness, this understanding he didn't have time for back then. He cancelled here, maybe did something with others, couldn't be there. Or I'm going to my family now or to someone else, and we'll see each other later or whatever, where you don't come along because I always have this bit of separation here. And that's what he showed you. And you always understood that. You always understood, yes, no, it's not a problem. No, I absolutely understand. He says he's stressed. You say, no, I understand. That's not an issue at all. Because you saw his inner self, what was going on inside him. But for him, it was too much. He couldn't. It has nothing to do with you. As I said, you did it perfectly. That's good. Stay that way. It's just with him, he can't handle it. It was too much, too fast, too much. Because he doesn't know it. I have him in such a way that he knows more of this coolness, this coldness, this superficiality, but not this intensity. Yes, and then of course we come to the point here, this understanding. Did he then also, but that's not meant in a bad way by him, quite certainly. So after this collective life, quite certainly, it is not meant in a bad way by him. That he took you for granted because you always have understanding. And when he then said, so now I would have time, you also said, yes, okay. Something like that, just to put it casually. And that's exactly it, because then it was like, because he himself no longer knows where he actually didn't know and still doesn't know where exactly he wants to go, what exactly he should do, because I see him lying here totally restless, insecure. He dithers and always maneuvers around here also to please others. These are his or her past issues. Then there's also the point, it might have been a topic for you too, where there was always a bit of conflict. I see communication here between the two of you. There was always a bit of a struggle with it. So really, sometimes what you wanted to express or talk about didn't quite come together. Or he said something or didn't want to talk about it and then said something, and for him, it was settled. But at the moment, it's not really resolved because I always feel a bit of unrest there in the communication. So here, I would say in communication, that was a big issue. And yes, you also felt rejected at times. But then you had understanding because, as I said, you saw what was going on inside him. And then it can also be, as I said, that it was an issue for you too, your discommunication, your warmth, your friendliness, also towards others. So, and now we are at the part concerning others. So, as I said, please adapt it for yourselves regarding people in cards like genders. When you have contact, you're just being friendly. You have contact with the man or the cashier or something. You're simply friendly and respond, yes, good morning. That's who you are. But Kid, then, he is the type who gets jealous. It might also be that there have been some disagreements here from time to time, or that he was offended and didn't say anything more about it. But that's his issue. That's absolutely his issue. For him, what has been intensely set in motion here is the love for you, always touching the heart. Because he is undergoing change. What he didn't really want to see all this time, the change, what you give. Because now he also sees your relationship with you, a connection with you. For him, that's the ultimate. It can't get any better. Because for him, it's absolute happiness. Now he becomes aware of what he didn't always see back then. And if you are currently at this very moment having contact, that's where he is in this area. And is also entering this transformation. As I said, he has his own issues. He's more on the surface where he's always been floating around. But how he sees you is truly that you are a wonderful person. However, there's a small part, yes, that maybe you were a bit insecure. As I said, it was always too much or is too much for him. When you approach him, you always reached out or you always reach out. You ask for a meeting. You always show understanding. You completely hold yourself back because you always want or wanted to give him the priority. Because you also had these concerns. You don't want to pressure him. You always want to be there for him, showing that you understand. But that's also a bit of your own issue. He loves you. He loved you and he still loves you. And the love is stronger than it was before. He is now also unsure whether you even want a relationship anymore or would want one. I can only tell you what is shown here in this line. This is what is occupying his mind. We are indeed in the question, how does he see you? But as I said, if it is shown here now, I will of course say it. I always say everything that the cards show, yes. And there is, as I said, a big topic here is always communication. Then maybe a little bit too much was asked. Or there was also a bit of jealousy. I sense a bit of jealousy from both of you here present. And that maybe you asked again or inquired again, very cautiously as well. He took it very sensitively and was then caught up in this stress factor for himself. And as I said, for one or the other, always a bit of the radius that is here. So actually, but so limited. I always have the boundary set so that, for example, you say my family couldn't come along, or no idea. He had a birthday, he celebrated his birthday, his family was there, and maybe also friends or whatever. And to you he said, but said we'll meet later, just as an example, something like that. But that's because he himself was unsure. He himself is incredibly insecure. The self-confidence is lacking here. Above all, he is insecure when it comes to love. As I said, he doesn't know it. He hasn't known it. But now is the time when he sees what you have always given him. We have here a very intense calming of the heart. In his heart, you are there, definitely. And there is the love which has deepened. We have here the change in love. And that always happens quickly. So, bam, like a lightning bolt, it always strikes. So yes, let's say the arrow of Cupid always comes and he does it multiple times. So he has quite a few loads of Cupid's arrows. And then he always shoots them into the heart here because he says, hey, there he is, you love him. And he becomes aware of it. And he knows that he is not happy at all. That's his realization. He is not happy. And in the end, he needs you. He needs you, his life, because you are in his heart. And there is also the longing. The longing is very intense towards you. And he has always found you, as I said. Fantastic. Sometimes also a bit, as I said, uncertain. Maybe too uncertain. And it's like this. Because if you are uncertain, he is uncertain. Then it's like, I always like to say it's like two negative poles systematically circling each other. And trust is also a very big issue. As I said, you always had understanding for him. Was it then that he didn't have to do anything for it? Because you were always there or have always been there. And as I said, with one or the other, even if you didn't say it, you said, yes, I'm meeting here, for example, with a friend. Or as I said, when shopping or somewhere. Because that really, really, really upset him. So he doesn't like that at all. But it's his own issue. It's not your issue. As I said, he sees you very warmly. Very understanding. As I said, this understanding nature, that's how it is. There was simply too much of it. And now he becomes aware that he actually pushed you away. He becomes aware of that. That's also what is driving him crazy. It's really driving him crazy. Because I have him lying here completely powerless. I have him, but it's also his current situation that is how it is. That's his issue. Because he keeps being caught up with these issues until he finally realizes that something is going wrong here. That he needs to change something here. That it can't continue like this. And that is very, very important. And he has indeed realized that it can't continue like this. And that's when he has realized, wow, by the way, he never really opened his heart. Not the whole time, as I said, always just skimming the surface. So, and now he realizes it doesn't fit anymore because his heart is opening more and more. And the longing is increasing. The attraction, a very strong attraction, is always there. And he realizes, hey, something is seriously wrong with me. And that is the test, that is his learning task. His learning task is not to run away, to open his heart, and to openly express what his true feelings are. Not just this, like, oh, I don't feel like it when you talk to someone else, for example. And always giving others the priority in his environment. I have the others very present here, either with him or with her. That is his learning task. My lilies, quite honestly, as I see it here, it really hits hard. But really hard because he will have massive problems if he's not already in them, as it seems very current to me. But, well, it's his issue. He didn't want it any other way. So, and let's take a look. Yes, we have the clouds and the lilies. The clouds, very beautiful. Of course, he could never really see through it himself. What exactly is going on? What am I running away from? But now he knows what he was running away from. And he always showed them to be inscrutable. As I said, he mentioned a small part, just as he wanted in that direction, and then the rest, no, inscrutable. And I said, what's going on now? What's up with you? Speak, because I always have you lying there talking, because you are also communicative, but rather always retreating, closed off, and then you are. The clouds have this inscrutability. There, the clouds, they are now gradually disappearing. It is becoming clear. These are his difficulties, his pessimism about change. It was the pessimism about change. Because he is already looking completely. The bright side, that the brightness comes back in. Something is happening, as we saw right at the beginning, even more clearly here. Because he knows he is not happy. He has never been happy either. He completely deceived himself. He only made others happy. Served, satisfied the others, however. And mostly here in the material and always tangible. It can be family, it can be friends. The area, he has always done everything. But now he can't anymore because, as I said, he feels that something is missing. Now, what you always gave him, and that's just a little tip from me, if you have contact again, if he gets in touch again, no matter how you have contact, just dial it back a little bit here. Halve the dosage. Okay. Because he is in the process of change. He wants you. There is, well, not just for the bed. Okay, I have that here too, but not just because of that, because I have a very, very intense heart movement here. Of course, the sexual attraction is also there. That is also part of it. But otherwise, it's not just that where you say, okay, hey, just purely for the bed. No, definitely not. You're here for me after this collective lying. Much, 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 much too much. In your heart. So, good. Now we also have sexuality again, okay? But it's not just sexuality. We also have harmony, romance, and that's it. That's what he wants, what he longs for, what he never wanted to see. Where it's also said, romance is such nonsense. That's just childish stuff. No, not at all. This is now what's breaking out of him, where this wall really then falls. This wall that he kept building because you gave him the harmony, the romance, this closeness. That's what you devoted yourself to. That's what you always gave him, this sensuality. And the balance, this equilibrium, and there wasn't really balance, especially concerning this area, harmony, and this devotion, this togetherness. And now that's where he finds balance, where he enters into change. And that's what he kept being tested on. again and again, bam, one blow after another. So that's really how it went. It was a continuous loop and he didn't want to see it. But now, yes, now he is ready. And there we have the change. And as always, as I said very quickly, the heart purification again and again, because the heart has the greatest say of all. Because the greatest power, the greatest force is love. And it has shown its full effect on him here. And there you are, as I said, in the heart, in love with him. And yes. So real movement, I would say that real movement comes in terms of activity. On the one hand, regarding the contact between the two of you, that it might become a bit warmer, a bit different, or that he might get in touch again. Right. I would say it could be 8 to 9 days up to weeks within this time frame that we completely get the change, that this, yes, where it's still a little bit foggy here, maybe also here. I would say it will be about 3 to 4. 3 to 4, I would say, days, not necessarily. That's a bit too far for me. I would rather go into the monthly range. You know, it could be weeks within this time. About 3. So I would say I don't want to go to 4, but I'm more inclined towards 3. But you know you control the time yourselves, each and every one of you. Okay? And I wish you all the very, very best from the bottom of my heart and a wonderfully beautiful day, my dears. Goodbye.